I'll tell you as well, I had a little run into Callum Singleton and Josh Kane there in the break, and they both were borderline speechless with what they'd just witnessed. Absolutely incredible. And they also know now that all of a sudden they're thinking they lost that first game and they didn't really get the chances to win against two good players in Tom Jones and Tom Jones, and they know they've got to win their next two matches to qualify. And they've sort of seen, I think, in their heart of hearts, those two playing, two 10-year-old kids, that think, right, we can't really lose that. Not really. If we play properly, there's just no way we can lose. Oh, you can.
Yeah, you've kind of got to just talk yourself out of thinking like that. You can lose in this format. You can lose to anyone at any stage. You know, you really can. You've just got to, I say, start of the night I said it, you've got to just put together a professional performance and deal with what you have in front of you. Three-ball plant on here. Eight-ball red is set. So red onto it. Where does that red go? And then they're going to have to work the cue ball well. They're not necessarily going to land nicely on the next ball unless they're straight enough here to be able to screw back. They were able to go up the table. That's not terrible. They're on the one at the top. They just need to get themselves off straight. Landing straight to left center isn't great. You need angle to come down the table. Quite straight here. If they are straight, then do they have to play for that red bottom left? Has he got just enough to force it down? They did. That was nice.
Yeah, and this will be a really, really important visit, because all jokes aside, and there will be jokes, and I will be one of the ones making them. You know, this is not all over yet for Elliot and Andy. We've just seen, what we have just seen is that Lucas and Teddy are absolute stars. Like, they could beat anyone tonight. And for Elliot and Andy, it's a case of getting back on the horse and showing us what you can do. And this night may well yet still not be over. And that was an excellent frame under pretty big sort of scenario pressure, really, for the pair of them.
Yeah, they're probably thinking, where was that in the previous match? Because they had enough. Let's not take anything away from the youngsters. These two had enough opportunities to get themselves in position to win that and take the buzzer beater away. They just didn't deal with their work well enough. But there they have turned up here, and maybe they'll, be glad that first match is out the way. Yes, you're right. Win the next two matches, and you absolutely still should believe that's enough to go through, or at least enough for a 6-red shootout. Tricky layout here for Callum, who had a tough opening match. It was a foul in the opening frame from Callum when he was playing a safety shot, and then a tricky miss ball down the cushion, which was pretty much their match in the opener. And he doesn't have much to go out here. This feels very similar to the layout he had in his opening individual frame.
Yeah, you can definitely make a case in this group that Callum Singleton right now is the form player individually in it of all 8 here tonight. He's been excellent so far this season as Callum. He's reached a final, he's reached a semi-final already. I think there's been a couple of quarterfinals in the mix there as well. He's sort of really been back to his best, and Callum Singleton's best is tournament winning level. It's all just starting to come back together for him after a very heavy last couple of years, just on and off the table. Everything's looking rosy right now for Mr. Singleton. Admittedly, he's got to use a spider, which I'm sure is less than ideal for him. Played a really good shot there. Had to play the breakout shot with the spider, which is never easy. He's played an excellent dig. If you are just joining us on the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup on your Monday night, these two are in the last chance soon. It's a must-win match for both of them. Josh Kane and Callum Singleton beaten 4-1, I think it was, by Tom Jones Jr. and Senior in the opening match of the night. Great performance from the Scousers. Kane and Singleton didn't really get the opportunity to win that match. They were just outplayed, essentially. But for Elliot, Koombs and Andy Williams, a slightly different story.
Just okay, I think, for Callum. He really wants to be on this ball to bottom left. If he's not, he's got a tricky shot to play because he's high on the yellow to left centre, and he has to leave a good angle to get on the 8 ball, which doesn't go to its natural pocket at top left. It goes top right. If he could have seen the one to bottom left, it was unmissable for a player at Callum's level. Good news is he's left the... It's not a nice shot he's left, but he's left the right side of the yellow. He got past the perfect rather than short of it, where at least he can get to the 8 ball. Problem is, he might be running a little bit high up the table here. This is so thin.
Yeah, there was nothing for short there for Callum, but he might be a little bit long. Got to play a really good shot. Excellent pot. How's your cue ball? Oh, he's unlucky. He is unlucky.
Yeah, the shot 2 shots ago was the killer.
Yeah.
Going up the table and just going that couple of rolls too far. And that is a big moment. Well, he's looking at the 8 ball, so he must think it's still... He can see it to cut it. Keep your eye on the cue ball here as well. It will be flying.
Oh, he's gone for the very delicate double. Oh, I can't believe that's not dropped. It thought about it.
He went for the double because the cut was so thin, the cue ball would have just been wild. And I'm not entirely sure how the 8 ball hasn't fallen. He hasn't left Elliot an opening clean pot, an easy one. He's obviously got the one up the table, but he prefers the plant. And when now that's in, just have to make sure you leave a good angle to get on the one nearest the 8 ball. That's not a good shot. I've done that quite significantly. So significantly, he might actually be able to make it work for himself.
He's got loads of angles and wants to use the bottom of the table almost.
Come round the three cushions, maybe even play for the one at the top would be the play here. Cue ball's dangerously close to the 8 ball line. That was the line I was talking about, but if he keeps going, he's on at one at the top. But he's landed nicely on the one in the middle, so he can come back for the one at the top. Situation recovered. That was an excellent couple of shots from Elliot.
Yeah, very good. Once again, Kane and Singleton are about to go 2-0 down. It is not a position from which you can expect to win a lot of matches on our Monday night shows. Races to 4, tough place to be, and you can see Callum get comfortable. It's sort of out of his hands now for certainly the next frame, maybe even the one after.
Tough spot to be, isn't it? You want to come in and put up a really big defence, but it hasn't happened for them yet. They are on the brink. That break. 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗃 from Andy Williams, and a very nice layout. It will be yellows. Red on the right-hand side is horrible. The yellows aren't too bad. Just land on the one above the red on the right at some point in the visit. That's the only one that needs any real attention. Go here, leave the ones at the bottom for the 8 ball, go up the table now. I think if he was absolutely straight on the one that's directly above the cue ball now, I like taking that and then just holding for the one on the cushion and backing yourself to drop it in. Once that's in, you're out, really. The two in the bottom half of the table connect so well together and connect to the 8 ball nicely that I like that as the back end. Has an angle to bump into this yellow, but I don't think that's got to be the play. So risky, that shot. There was no benefit. There's just no benefit whatsoever to me. I can't... We talk about it all the time. Sometimes you think, okay, you can't go wrong. You're going to pop it into it.
It's a free go.
That just wasn't, though. You didn't need to move it. You could have played on that a lot earlier. Used other... I'm just very surprised by the decision-making there from Andy.
Can he pull one out the fire? There's your answer.
Do you know what it says to me? You know, and we've talked about Andy and his confidence at the moment. To me, that just highlights that's a player low on confidence. You know, just back yourself to make that down the cushion. You could have landed on... You were just about straight enough on the one to top right if you really wanted to nip it in and hold, leave that three-quarter ball angle on the one on the cushion. Once that's in, you can't... You are going to clear up every single time as a professional player. But even if he didn't like that, even if he had a turn too much angle, then you had other ways to play. There was 2 or 3 different routes that would have been natural and easy, but he chose to play for the way to play into it. And yeah, I think if he's playing at his best, he doesn't even think about playing into it there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Definitely something in that. But it's a very difficult place to be. I mean, I know.
Don't look at me and laugh, Stephen.
Let's just say, I know in your experience of being a top international player that you too had moments of what we'll call crises of confidence. I'm sorry for using the plural there. As we see Josh play a poor shot, but it is a tricky place to be, and it's an even trickier place to get out of.
Yeah, I can tell you I didn't. I mean, I'm in the commentary box. That's simple as that.
Josh is going to try and play some kind of recovery shot, and what a shot he's played. A double plant.
A double plant off angle. About that was some shot. Oh, we were having a good laugh in the commentary box. He's just pulled out a little bit of magic there.
That's an incredible shot from Josh Kane. Fantastic poke from the killer. He wants that to slow down. Oh.
He needs another good shot here. Argument to play the loss of turn here and actually just screw the cue ball to the top of the table, leaving no shot.
Here's the shot that he played on the reds, which was magic. I tell you what, considering he had an awful lot of room on the shot on the last red, he's actually played a really poor one to be here.
He thinks this cuts. It doesn't look like it. Oh, it does. It does.
Cue ball.
It looks so thin on our camera angles. Let's put that in nicely.
Yeah, really good pot in the end from Josh Kane, who stops the rock for the defending champs. I thought that cue ball was in danger of 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏
Haven't mentioned, of course, it's final week as Josh Kane being the defending champion of the last man standing coming up at the weekend. Looking forward to that one.
Might be the hardest tournament out of any of Ultimate Pool's tournaments to defend the last man standing.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, he'll give it a go. Can't imagine he'll get called out as late as he did last time, Mike. Someone will just want to take him out before he did last year. As we return to the action, Josh with a brilliant break. Yeah, he can't hit them much nicer than that. Cue ball was pristine, but not really rewarded in any shape or form.
Yeah, these reds are tricky, and there's no, unless that yellow at the top goes, the yellows are what you probably want to be here. But well, he was on, he does go, so that was okay then. So yellows are doable. There's a little bit of work to do, getting underneath the one by the 8 ball and the one on the left-hand side tied up with the reds, but much better than the reds. So the fact that went was quite big. It solves problem number 1. Well, it opens it up a little bit. It's not necessarily solved because they're off angle on the next ball, going up the table. wondering if they're on the gap to the bottom yellow. The way they were looking, they're trying to get underneath this 8-ball. Okay, they could hold using the red, so now they can get underneath the yellow by the 8-ball. This isn't guaranteed out from here, and if they don't get out, it'll be 2-2 and a heartbeat. That's nice. If the yellow passed the red to bottom left, it would be certain, but I don't think it does. And they're just off straight the wrong way to get nicely on the yellow. Might have to pull back for the double or leave a thin clip in the centre. Still tricky. Yeah, a couple more rolls up the table would have been nice, because they could have floated behind the yellow there. That clearly doesn't go to the bottom left. Big shot coming up here for Andy.
Oh, overcuts it. You'd have thought that wouldn't really have been too possible, as thin as he was. Now we could be going level here with not much in this match remaining.
Really important they get the out here, but they need to inject some time into this match. They need to get out quickly. It's not their break next. The draw is not good for them. It's not good for either pair. That keeps them both in, but only just.
Extension.
Big miss from Josh. Nice smile when they landed there. He had a couple of balls he could have potted. It wasn't where they wanted to be, but that was a poor one from both of them, really. And this yellow goes. Oh, just pulled up enough. And this is okay. It looks awkward, but it is okay here for Andy Williams.
Overcuts it again. Oh, wow.
It's another big error. I know it's awkward when they're close like that, but I'm shocked he's missed it. Another big shot coming up for Josh Kane. What helps this shot here is that you're not leaving the 8-ball on. You float this in, goes in, you win the frame. If it doesn't, you leave a snooker.
Punch it
played. He actually punched it in and actually would have left sight of the 8-ball. I don't think it was going to be on, but it's one on the frame.
Certainly has, and we're going to go level with 90 seconds to play. The killer has a look in his eye that says we're not done just yet. Goes the 8-ball. 1:28 remaining. 2-2. They were 2-0 down, Callum and Josh. They are one frame away from completing the comeback and getting themselves back in their title defence.
Andy Williams has the break, though.
He has been breaking big.
Yeah, same situation as the previous match, though, isn't it? Where it did not go well for him. Almost exactly the same, really. Maybe a minute left on the clock. Less left on the clock, maybe a touch more than that. Anyway, big break like he's hit the last one. And give himself an opportunity is what he's thinking, but is he feeling good enough to take it?
Oh, that cue ball was straight enough. It's going to be dry anyway. Callum Singleton with 84 seconds and ticking to play.
If this yellow that he's nearest to goes, then the yellows aren't too bad, because he can just nudge the other yellow open at the same time, and he's getting down on it, so this all does go.
A draw is no good, really, for either team. I'm almost certain Callum wanted to move that yellow that he flew past.
Using the cushion to go into it, to go in, you know, probably yellow or red, and he would have been fine, and he's missed it by quite a distance.
That is now a problem ball. There's still hope in this frame. 50 seconds to play.
Worst case scenario here for Callum is you just leave it as a double. absolute worst case.
I don't know if he'll have much choice at this stage. 32 seconds.
If he's straight, might have to just leave it as the double. Just stop it now, and does the double go? The yellow might be in the way, so drop it in the centre then.
20 seconds. Lovely pot. Elliot Combe and Andy Williams about to be buzzer beaten again. Oh, this 8-ball is mighty fine. Can he find a way? Can he find a way? No. Just short of the frame victory, and Callum Singleton and Josh Kane, Andy Williams and Elliot Combe will share the spoils. It's not a good result for either. The only way they can qualify through now for the pair of them is a 4-way 6-red shootout, and that means they need a lot of results to go their way as the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup continues.